Hi, Rashid here. Welcome back to my channel. And yes, writing reports. This is the writing reports stage after you have done synthesis or the compile stages. Okay, so when it comes to reporting, try this. Try write on your shell report underscore and no need for square brackets. I just meant to. Okay, where is it? The smaller one, middle one. Yeah. So hit a tab here after you do report underscore, hit a tab there. You will see like tons of reports underscore commands. All those are reporting something. Okay. So now you have done a synthesis. You want to generate reports. Okay. Question is what kind of reports you need to generate because the options are so many. Okay. So here is what you need to think. First of all, we come to this one, but first of all, think of you want to get an overall design summary type thing. Okay, you want to understand in different areas how my design look like. Okay, how the overall timing look like. Okay, basically it always comes down to these. I mean, remember these were the three constraints: your timing. Okay, you define clocks, whether you hitting that frequency or not. Then your area. Okay, area, or sometimes I also call it a floor plan or a layout constraint. Okay, or area constraints. Okay, area you are mainly interested in. Okay, how many cells I have, how many standard cells I have, how many macros I have, what's the variance, and what's the area of them. That's the most important thing, because overall you reserved an area with a certain utilization in mind. You don't want to pack too much in a smaller area, and at the same time you don't want to leave so much area. You want to have a reasonable utilization, and we talk about utilization I think earlier on. So you want to understand now where my design stands. Also, power is your important thing. You want to look at some of the reports that give you how much power your design has, how much how much the total, remember the different components, right? Dynamic power, leakage power, short circuit power. Okay. And the components that which come from short circuit and leakage, they come from the standard cell library. The dynamic component is kind of calculated overall based on your clock period, but your switching activity and all that. So, and you also want to see how many clock gating was were inserted. Okay, how many? I mean, you can, just to give you an idea, you can go deep into any area, but first you start with a higher level. A simple report that tells you, like, look at the timing. A simple report that tells you in your different path group, or let's say you don't have a path. Let's say you have just, everybody has those three path groups, right? Let's say you have one clock. In my design, I have one clock. Internal paths mean paths where input and output ports are not involved. Okay, input path group is the one from input ports to the flip-flop, and output path group is the one from the flip-flops to output ports. And then in between you have flip-flop to flip-flop. You can have flip-flop to memory, memory to flip-flop, memory to memory, blah blah. I'm considering all those as the internal one. Okay, so in the timing, the very first thing I want to see is, okay, my internal timing, whatever frequency I set for the clock, do I meet that or not? Simple as that. Okay, so yeah, I want to get some idea of that. Okay, if it's not, what's the worst negative select? How many logic levels are in the critical path? Stuff like that. Okay, and then area wise, I want to understand overall cell count, cell area, macro area, flip-flop area, how many inverter buffers were added, just to want to make sure that things didn't explode, things are reasonable. Power I already talked about. Okay, overall your power, total power numbers. Okay, so this report QOR, I think every tool will have some equivalent version of that. So you that report kind of give you, I think we will look into a few examples of this, what is inside, but that kind of gives you, I think, not too much on power, but at least timing and area wise, it give you overall good situation. Okay. Then for the timing, this overall thing gives you a summary, this QR, but report underscore constraints will tell you further detailed information for setup, for hold, max trans, max caps, and those other things. And it will display all the violators there. Then within the timing, now you want even to look further down. Like let's say you have a path group and you have a path that violates. You want to get a detailed timing report of that. Remember I talked about timing reports in the SOC physics design playlist? Yeah, if you haven't watched that, please go, and I do give an example of report timing and how to read a timing report because that's very important. And that thing comes here. So you can see that I started with a high level, then I picked a couple for more timing information. And let's see you are getting into a timing report and doesn't give you that. You're debugging now, right? Now you're going into further and further specifics, a very targeted kind of timing report. You can get some reports from default if you look at the find them, and sometimes you have to write your own report, custom reports, and that's where you play with attributes, you play with a lot of tickle, and you create your own procedures. You define the procedure, then you call the procedure, and then you write on from information in the way that you want. For example, these reports are not going to write a CSV or Excel sheet. I mean, you want to dump everything output in a CSV so that you can open it in Excel, and then you can do a lot of processing of that, data mining of that, plotting of something, right? So then you write out your own custom reporting to dump information in a format that you want. And most of them are in a tickle format because you are inside the tool, then tickle is the language of that tool, right? Make sense what I'm saying? And then report area will give you more specific information about the area. I've missed one important one, which is I think a report underscore design, because that will also give you a lot of design specific information there. Then you see on the power, I have report clock gating. So how many clock gates are used? How many registers are driven by a clock gate? The clock is gated with an enable signal, right? Then I also added this report logic levels, and I added two more, which to be honest, I forgot right now what was the functionality. I think I had maybe power in mind. If some changes to happen to transistor, maybe, okay, I won't explain that, but yeah, those sometimes we can have some register where you have a banks of register, very optimized kind of. Instead of bits here and there, you can use a whole bank. So maybe some sort of transformation of registers happen like that. Okay, but yeah, basically, I mean, you will see most of you will do not have to create your flows. What you will see if you join a company, they will have a complex flow, and that flow will probably generate hundreds of I'm just kidding, okay, maybe 30 40 20, at least 20 reports there, and then you're figuring out where to go first. I think when you're new you struggle a lot, okay, which report is really the one I look at. So hopefully this idea, that's okay, this way of looking into reports gonna help you, and you will not be frustrated with which report it is. Okay, get an overall and then go into specific area. All right, so I think that's it. I didn't cover on the exact syntax out of that, but you can see that it's not a big deal. I define a variable state because later on when I write a report, you can also generate reports in the previous stages as well, right? After you did first compile, you can generate a timing report or QR report. But here is stage. I say it's the final stage of the synthesis. And when I write out, look at this one. I write out, this is the redirect, the output of this command into a file. And the name of the file I'm building with the variables. So design name, which in my case is counter, dot stage is in final, and dot QR dot report. So whenever you look into a report, you right away figure out what kind of report it is and after what stage it is being generated. All right. I think enough for now. Thank you so much. See you next time.